NBK, we call it NBK because
nobody knows.
Nobody knows what it is, including us. We don't know what it is.
No.
I had this little theory that it might be pilot boat number 8, which is listed in Lloyd's, just because it's in the right vicinity and it's a sort of iron-hulled sailing ship. But that's just a guess. But
Which
no,
it certainly looks to be, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it certainly is an iron-hulled sailing ship. You can see the old rivets in there, can't you? And
yes,
picked up in the past these little shown brass rings for the rigging.
Yeah.
There's some stoneware jars on there as well, isn't there?
Yep.
They're all very much wedged in. You picked up a couple that did manage to get out that are quite nice.
Yeah.
Hand painted.
Lovely. Yeah, very nice. Unfortunately, not really something you can date from, being handmade.
Did have some other pottery. There was an old. I've got a bowl, and it's similar to the stuff that we've got off of Not the Fortune, isn't it? Which is that.
Yeah, Belgium stuff.
Yeah. You have to my pronunciation of this stuff. I don't know what it is, but we call it P. Ragu, Mr. Magoo, P. Ragu. It's all Maastricht stuff. We've got some dates off of that, which I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's uncharted, and it's just a big pile of ballast, isn't it? So
trawled over, very small. Yeah, it's quite a nice little wreck, really.
Yeah, do it in good fish. It is a nice dive. There's things to be found down there. There's lots of bits and pieces about. Because, as far as I'm pretty sure, we're the only ones who dive it. Really, it's not. I don't think anyone else would waste their time going all that way out there just to dive that, would they? But
I wouldn't have thought so. There's too many bits and bobs still on it as well.
Yeah, there's loads of stuff. You pick stuff up one year, you go back a couple of years later, and it's still sitting there. So,
which is really nice. Isn't it?
That is good. It still sits there. So.
It's nice to see a few bits and pieces, artifacts down the bottom there.
Yeah.
If they're not any help in naming what we want, the vessel and that, then we just tend to leave them there, don't we?
Yeah. Oh, you found a sounding weight on that the other day, didn't you? And I think you put that at the top, didn't you? So,
yep.
I mean, I think the trawler hits it from time to time.
And that lantern glass, that was whole, wasn't it?
Yeah,
all circular. Yeah. That was really nice.
Yeah, so as long as they don't run their trawlers over, their trawl nets over it, we should bump into that again next year when we have another visit.
Yep. So. Yeah, there's a couple of stonewares, jars that are in the ballast rock, isn't there? Which we don't really want to disturb and break them. It's just a shame.
Yeah, and we've had a go at it in the past, but we just sort of decided now we leave it because you're going to try and do it, and you're just going to end up busting it. So we'll just leave it there. It's just quite nice to go down and have a look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. If it's not going to help name it, then just leave it there.
Yeah, the bowl. I did find a nice bowl that was sort of concreted in. I dug it out one dive and then went back a couple of weeks later, and I think a trawler had been over it and smashed it, which is a bit annoying. but yeah, I managed to lift that up. That's where we got the P. Ragu Maastricht name of the pottery.
Yeah, I moved. Yeah, no problem.
It's all going on now.
All kicking off.
It's all quiet, and as soon as we put the camera on, everyone turns up. It's too noisy. There's too many petrol fumes. We'll come back to this. There we go then, NBK.
NBK. What's that stand for?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows what?
Nobody knows what wreck this is.
Oh, don't they?
No. But we've got a new diver today. He's going to tell us what it is. He's going to crack it.
Excellent. Pleasure to be on the boat so far. Well, you never know. He might be our lucky mascot.
Yeah.
Today could be the day.
It might be my new boat pitch as well.
Oh, I see. What's wrong with your old boat pitch?
It's getting a bit old and worn out. Just look at it. Just look at it.
Handsome chap, I thought.
Been traded in for a younger model. Right. You better buck your ideas up.
I've got to get on. I can't stand here talking bollocks.
You all right? Good. Shirt on here. Who's a guest? Come on, you, hurry up. How you doing over there? And you doing all right? What are you playing around at?
It's not fair.
Well, this is NBK. I'm not entirely sure what this part is. Whether it was an old winch drum or part of the steering. Really not sure. You can see part of the iron hull there. Definitely not a wooden ship. Just coming into view now is the brass handle of what would have been a masthead lantern. Just above it is another one of the brass circular rings for the rigging, and that is the actual lantern glass from the lantern that handle would have come from. It's another one of those brass rigging rings. And I'm not sure what that was. I thought it was a gimbal to start with, but it's got like a handle on it. I think Jamie found one very similar, looked like a handle of a file. It's a piece of old stoneware pottery. The wreck's very small, you swim off any direction, you can't find anything else of it. There's some more of the iron hull plating. You get a better view of all the ballast that's all stacked up there from this side. We'll just do a quick spin around and then I'll try and find those pots that are buried in the ballast. Down in this area there's an old cast iron stove somewhere underneath all that lot, because that's a picture of the stovepipe that I pulled out many years ago. And that there's the lead sounding weight that Jamie found. There is actually one thing off the side of this wreck which we don't cover in this video. We think it's the roof off the wheelhouse. It's just a little way off of the wreck. Must have come off as the wreck was sinking. And it's laying there, and we're going to apply for a licence to see if we can bring it up, because Jamie's got this idea that it's going to have something scratched into the lead. You know, people would have sort of graffitied in it, so maybe there's a clue on there. So we're going to apply for a licence and see if they'll let us bring it up. I'm not sure what that is. That's an old bit of stoneware pottery. Back where we started again. I think we've been around about 3 times now. Bottle didn't have any embossing on it to give any clues. We're going to see if we can find those other stoneware pots. And there it is, well concreted in. I've been trying to pull that out for about the last 7 or 8 years. I'm convinced it's got a nice clue on it, but it's just not going to come out. There's the other one. It's very similar to the one that's shown at the beginning of the video that Jamie's drinking out of, so I'm sure it's hand painted as well. But again, that's just wedged in there solid.